Good evening, everybody. Welcome to tonight's City Council meeting on February 23rd. It is 6 o'clock. I am Joe Shice, City Councilman. Mayor Smith is unable to join us tonight. Call to order, roll call. Joe?
Okay. Andy Wilson.
Present.
Jason Daly.
Here.
Joe Shy.
Present.
Mike Parsons.
Here.
And as you said, the mayor has an excused absence.
All
So we
right.
have a quorum.
Great. Mr. Daly, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mayor's report. I am told there is nothing to report at the moment. Council reports, Councilman?
I wanted to bring up something that I figured out this last week, or actually it's been a little bit longer, but maybe we'll get it on the agenda for next couple meetings. The weight limit on the roads of 30,000 pounds. If you get a load of gravel delivered, you're over. You need to get a permit. If you have a cement truck delivery, you're over. You got to get a permit. So I think that we should look into it for our residents so that we can make it right. But something to talk about and look into for a meeting down the road.
Well, go back in history again, which I know we used to have an ordinance that anything that was over 20,000 pounds, I believe, had to come to the city hall and just notify the city hall of what the product was.
Mm-hmm.
And then the city could automatically, okay. But they had to come to city hall of anything over 20,000 pounds.
Yeah. Well, right now it's 30,000 pounds and it needs a permit.
Well, I remember that permit, but you get truckers coming in here for hauling in stuff for people, and it's absolutely ridiculous for them to have to come here and get a permit and wait 2 or 3 weeks to haul a load of gravel in. You follow what I'm talking about?
I agree 100%, Andy. That's why I want to relook at this ordinance and change it around a little bit so the residents don't have to worry about.
I would firmly agree with you that we change it to 30,000 pounds, and if they come to the city, they come to the city hall and have to notify the city of what it is to make sure that the product is like gravel or asphalt. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
I think
So
it should-
we'll need to pull up the ordinance. Jill read it to me the other day and it changed my plans right away, and I said, holy smokes. So we need to look into changing it so that it's more convenient for everybody.
I firmly agree with you that
Will you you're going to work with City Hall on that? For the moment? Get
Yes,
it
I'll
going?
start
Okay.
talking.
we have, the city today has too many of these phony ordinances as far as I'm concerned. They're ridiculous, they don't mean anything for the people.
That's why we're here. We can get them written
That's right.
the right way. We had a comment.
Yes. Did you want to ask council if they want to hear me?
You want to give them a chance?
Apparently not, Julie. He's in charge. Just let him do.
What I'm wondering is there any way, I don't know how much a load of gravel weighs, but is there any chance that we could raise that limit so that it would cover a load of gravel?
We're going to look into that.
Well, that's
Okay.
what we're going to look into. I just mainly wanted to bring it up so that we can all start thinking about it and get it on the agenda for, I hate to have it on the next meeting because that's the second thing I need to talk about. I will be gone at the next meeting, but maybe the meeting after that.
Okay.
Does a cement
Great.
truck
Bring
need
it
a
up.
permit?
A cement truck would probably need a permit.
Okay. Needed to
Yep.
know.
All right.
Thank you.
I found out that an empty log hauler truck, a self-loader, is over 30,000 pounds
Yes, they are.
without any logs on it at all. So,
Okay. All right, good.
All right.
Anything else? All right. Agenda approval.
I make a motion that we bring the item up to the next council meeting, and in the meantime, the city clerk get the old ordinance out so we could look at it and review it.
Yep, that's what we're gonna do. Perfect.
So was that a motion or not? You just made a motion, you said, so we have to address it as a.
Andy,
motion.
was that a motion to do that?
Yes.
Oh, we have a motion for that. For bringing that item up on the next agenda, next city council meeting.
Joe, you gotta get a second.
I know. Do we have
I'll
do we have a second?
okay.
Mr. Daly seconds that? One moment, we have a motion on the floor. Sorry. One moment. All in favor?
Wait, I'm sorry, who seconded?
I just.
Jason, okay.
All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Ms. Smith?
When did that ordinance go start? I've been here for 10 years and I've never heard of it.
Well, there's a sign as you come into town that says 30,000 pound limit on all city streets without permit or something like that. I didn't.
Did you have a comment?
There's
Bill?
an ordinance that dates back to the 90s. I don't remember exactly which year in the 90s, but then we updated it again in 2014.
All right. Agenda approval. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda? Oh, one more comment.
D Avenue and 8th Avenue, 8th Avenue from D out have the same load ratings as 506. Because when I put in that races, we had to have a state certified detour. And the only roads in this town that were accepted as a detour were D Avenue and 8th Avenue, because when they were redone, they were brought up to state code. So there's a different classification for those two streets than the rest of the town. Take note of that.
Yeah, have to do that in our,
Well, we have no jurisdiction over the state highway.
No.
You do over D Avenue and 8th Avenue.
Do what?
You do over D Avenue and 8th Avenue.
all right, let's move on to agenda approval. We've,
I'll make a motion to approve the city minute agenda approval. City council meeting agenda for February 23rd, 2017.
we have a motion to approve the meeting agenda as written. Do we have a second?
I make a motion.
You gonna second it?
Seconded by Mr. Wilson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Minutes approval.
I make a motion, we approve the city council meetings on 2009 and 2017.
We have a motion by Mr. Wilson to approve the meeting minutes from February 9th, 2017. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Mr. Parsons. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Voucher approval.
I make a motion, we approve end of February 2017 voucher for the amount of $11,307.45, and February 2017 total of $47,242.80.
We have a motion by Mr. Wilson to approve the vouchers in the amount stated. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Mr. Parsons. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We have no special reports tonight. Jill, when you're ready, public comment.
We have 3 people on the list. First is Julie Hedgeland.
All right. As the meeting standard that the mayor has set forth, I am going to use the 3-minute timer.
I hope I can talk fast. I'm Julie Hitchlin. I live at 1108 East Street in Vader. And I am currently looking at purchasing the corner of A Street. I'm going to be putting in a business of a bakery and restaurant. So I need everybody's prayers and any ideas, I'm welcome for them. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. It's very exciting.
A
Good luck.
Street and,
The corner of A across from the post office.
506.
oh, okay.
And the 506, sorry.
That's where the old bank used to be, right?
Now what do I do?
Did I do it?
You
Did I
did.
get
Now I'm in the middle. What do you do then?
I did good or what? I'm telling you, I never got through it. You're right.
Next.
Next on the list is Judy Costello.
Oh,
Judy Costello, 709 A Street, Vader. I would like to talk about one of those silly little ordinances. Should like to have the council look into the ordinance for the abandoned buildings. I think it's terrible that we are boarding them up. It makes our property values go down, and when the property value goes down, you guys don't get any money. And a suggestion might be, I don't know who came up with this OSB on the outside, but why not put it on the inside? It wouldn't make it look so tacky, but I really think it's a bad idea. All over town, we got boarded up buildings now. And how would you like it if I went down to my building on A Street across from the post office and boarded it up? It would not send a very good message to anybody or anybody's property value or anything. And so that's how I feel about property values in town, and I don't want to see everybody's property value go down just because some of the property owners don't take care of their property. Looks like I used my 3 minutes. Thank you so very much.
thank you.
Hopefully.
And thank you for also offering a possible solution to the problem.
Where there's a problem,
you.
there must be a solution. Thank you.
Hopefully it's a stepping stone.
All right, there was one more.
Linda Newton.
Linda.
Linda Newton, 1024 B Street. My comment is more to the Public Works people that are here. But, our mayor isn't here, but thank you, council, for having us, and thank you, Public Works, for holding this meeting so that we are updated on our system. I'm going to follow my notes because, I get nervous. First, let me say that I know that money and time, it's hard to make changes and upgrades without those features. However, I'd like to remind you that a lot of the citizens of Vader are retired on fixed incomes. And as you know, Social Security did not give us a very big cost of living raise this year. In fact, it was a joke.
Zero.
It was a big joke. I'm concerned about the raise in the utility fees. Vader already gets 7%, and the city has imposed a rate hike on top of that, which has no cap on it, which I perceive as double dipping in our pockets. Already, that cap has exceeded what Social Security cost of living has given to us senior citizens. I'm wondering, is this what's going to happen with the water? Okay. I'd like to see more transparency and more accountability publicly. Where are these fees being spent? City Hall knows, but they're not putting it out there what's going on. You can come down here and get a copy of the budget if you want, but the general public really doesn't know. We've also heard, we've had grant money also. This is a tough issue, and And I know that getting the job done is hard. But there's only so many money in retirees' pockets, and there's only so much that can be gleaned out of retirees' pockets. There is no more. So my sewer bill, for example, has already gone up $11.30 from January. And now I fear that the water is going to do the same thing. So I'm a single fixed income household. And so I'm sure that you understand where I'm coming from, and probably a lot of the other retirees also. I really thank you for listening to me and taking this into consideration when it comes to fees and those sort of things.
Thank you. All right. Moving on to city business. Item 1, council to consider city council vacancy options. Ruth Creer, for personal reasons, and had to leave the council. And we submitted a advertisement in the latest utility bill to all the citizens, and there's only been one citizen that's come forward.
No one has come forward, but I guess some have been sought out by members of the elected officials.
And so, as it is the council's right to do so, did we have any nominations?
I don't at this time.
I'd like to nominate Bob Todd.
Bob Todd. It's a name that I heard as well. Mr. Todd is here tonight. Mr. Todd, would you like to introduce yourself?
Well, you just did.
Is this an official nomination, like as
No,
a
no,
motion?
I don't believe so.
I don't know, is it? Is this an official nomination?
Um,
Or are you just throwing a name out there as an idea? If it's an official nomination, then we have to vote on it. Are you
oh,
prepared to do that at this time, or are you just throwing out? I'm just trying to clarify, so I'm keeping track properly here,
Well,
what this is.
As it was explained to me, I'd be nominated, the city council will vote on it, and that was it.
yeah.
So it's an official nomination?
Official
Okay,
name.
then there has to be a second for the nomination.
Oh, okay.
I have heard some really good things about Mr. Todd. Mr. Todd, correct me if I'm wrong. You've been nominated by the Eagles for a national award. Is that correct?
Well, no,
Okay.
I spent about 22 years in the Auburn Eagles. I'm a past president there, a Hall of Fame member there, and that's about it.
So.
I also spent a few years volunteering for the Auburn Senior Center.
I personally need more time. I think it's great that we have someone that's willing to step forward and put their name in the hat, but I think there's more time needed to see just who might also want to throw their name in.
Okay. Mike has nominated somebody. Is that
There
correct?
hasn't been a second for the nomination.
There hasn't been a second yet. Do we have a second for Mr. Todd?
I second
Second, Mr. Wilson seconds it.
We have nobody else.
Well, we've only had 2 weeks to find somebody else, so we haven't really had a lot of time.
Well, you don't think we've had enough time?
No,
Well, then I'd have to withdraw my second.
Okay. So, well, if you want more time, I'm fine with waiting a little longer. We're in no hurry.
yeah, we're not,
You're not turning down Mr.
No,
Todd, you're just saying you
I'm not
want-
turning you down, Mr. Todd. I just want there to be more time for people in the community to actually get their heads wrapped around
I got no
this
problem with it.
possibility. Okay, good.
Maybe you could speak with Mr. Todd at some point too?
Yeah.
Because I know in the past, you've always wanted to meet the
I always
folks.
want to meet him.
Yeah, so, definitely.
I
Andy?
think it should be advertised more, really, because as far as I know, the only advertisement I've seen is by word of mouth.
It went out in the latest utility bill. There was a note in the letter.
Yeah.
So everyone got a notice to their
We
door.
got the notice.
It was mentioned in the paper article as well, but
Yeah, it wasn't the town crier. So,
Yeah.
but we can wait. That's fine. Is that the council's decision to wait?
the city has 90 days
We have
from the
90
date that she resigned, and it was one of the last days in January that she resigned, so we do have time. We still have several council meetings before we hit that deadline, so there is time.
Okay. Is that
Okay.
it for this week then on that topic? And then we'll revisit it next week?
Sounds good.
So the
Do-
motion dies on the table, which is fine. That doesn't mean you can't renominate him again
Right.
at
That's
the
fine.
time. It's just,
Do we need to make a motion to postpone it, or do we?
I don't think so.
Okay,
I don't
cool.
think so. I think we just, that it's not settled tonight, and we'll have it on the next council meeting agenda.
So we'll just plan on forward motion.
Yes.
Don't run away.
Always forward.
Great. Well, Mr. Todd, thank you very much for coming tonight and offering to volunteer on the council.
Don't take no offense to it.
Yeah.
No, not a problem.
All right then. If there's no further discussion tonight on that topic, item 2, council to consider resolution 032017, contract extension for planning consultant. This, if I remember correctly, this was on our agenda 2 weeks ago, and we didn't yet have the signature.
Yes, there were some details
yeah.
of the extension that he was concerned about, so we had to make some adjustments to it because of the budget changes, and anyways, yes, but we're all ironed out now, so we do have the signed agreement. You don't have a copy of it because I printed these before I got the signed agreement, but we do have his signed agreement, so all we need to do now is approve it to continue and have the extension with him for the next 2 years.
Well, I'd like to approve the resolution and adopt the planning consultant contract extension as written.
We have a motion by Mr. Daly to approve resolution 032017 as written. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Mr. Parsons. Any further discussion? All in favor of approving resolution 032017, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 3, update on drainage near Annanen Road.
That was a report for me to give. So we did get information back from the city of Winlock. They have a TV scoping that they can scope that they will allow us to hire them to come and do, and it's a reasonable fee, much less than what it was going to cost to hire somebody privately. And we have been working this week to get the map together with as much knowledge as we have, and as much people as we have as to where we're going to do the scoping and how we're going to access those lines. That's been the biggest issue, is how to access the storm drain and where to access it to get to where we want to go. And so we at the first part of next week we'll be getting back with Winlock and setting up a date to have them come out and do that TVing of those lines and see what we can find out for those storm
Can I be
drains.
aware of that so I can be there present?
Yes, and I'd like you to come look at the map
Good.
too, make sure that we have that information. So that's where we are. It's moving slowly forward, but moving forward. So
Yeah.
hopefully next week we'll have a date set up with Winlock to do that.
Well, it's great news that we found someone local
Yeah.
to do that for us. So,
Affordable too.
yes. Any further discussion? All right, moving on. Item 4, Council to consider ordinance 2017-02, update to code enforcement regulations. If I remember correctly, this was to put in some verbiage to strengthen our position for those that are not even returning our initial letters. Is that correct, Joe?
Yes.
I have a pretty significant problem with this, and it's down here where it says the significant changes. I've been battling over this with, I talked to Joe about it a little bit too, about the daily penalties. I don't believe that giving people a penalty every day gives them the amount of time to take care of the problem.
So after we talked, I looked into that some more. And correct me if I'm wrong, it's not for those folks that got the letter and got back to City Hall and went through the normal procedures. That's correct?
That's correct.
These are people that we sent letters to again and again, and they never got back to us, ever. And so if we needed to go to the next step, which is litigation, to get them to start responding, if you remember the attorney's costs to make that happen, these would be to recoup our attorney's costs for those steps, for the folks that never get back to us ever.
Well,
And I'm sorry, I'll add to that because Joe asked about that to me today and also asked about, does this waive our ability to be able to waive those fees for somebody if the situation arose. And so I checked with the attorney and she said city still has the ability to waive those for somebody if the situation came about. She said what that daily, as Joe was explaining, what that daily, it's not a fee, it's a penalty, is for, is to give us some leverage to push people to respond and not be able to just ignore. And
Right,
so,
but
and she
at
said,
this-
but the city still has the right, once the case is settled, to waive those penalties for people.
at the same time, I haven't seen the letter that went out, but to Mr. Hinkle has informed me today that he received a letter stating that if his house that is still standing, that next door that didn't get demolished and sent away, that he would have daily violation penalties also. So that's where I'm confused, because I know he's already in a contract situation, so that shouldn't be.
Penalties for not demolishing the house.
Right.
He is not in that situation. If he thinks he is, he's misunderstanding. But that he is not required to demolish the house at this point. There could be a point sometime in the future if a house is in a state where it's unsafe to leave it standing, like if it's partially burnt out and so it's not sound, and it's
Well, I think his is
unsafe.
caved in right now, so.
His is caved in? Oh, well, we weren't aware of that. We weren't addressing it.
Okay, I'm sorry,
Okay.
that was wrong.
Well, we're not addressing it that way, just that it needed to be boarded up and secured so that animals and transient and kids, it doesn't become an attractive nuisance, is what it's called.
Right.
And so that's his situation. The building is not in jeopardy of falling down and harming someone.
Right.
So he's not being required to tear it down at this point. We do have a situation where a house is burnt out and the roof is caved in and it is dangerous, then that could be part of what's required. In his situation, that's not the case. He's not getting daily penalties right now, so I'm not sure what he's. I could talk to you about that privately, so that he's not on display
Right.
to everybody.
Yeah.
But that's not the case with him. What this is it's set up so that, and this is what we talked about in the executive session
I
a
know, it's
little
like an
bit. Some of
incentive.
what, yeah, it's so that they realize it's not just okay, $500 penalty, who cares, whatever, no big deal. But if they continue to ignore. And continue, like there's some that we have sent certified letters to, they've signed and picked them up, So we have record that they've received our notices, but they are not responding, and so we keep ratcheting it up. But the way the ordinance is written right now is that it's a one-time fee. It's a $500 fee for the violation of that code, and that's it. However, if they receive notice that you're getting $500 a day, you need to get in contact with us. That's the idea behind this. The mayor is greatly in support of it, to give us some leverage with them and to allow us to recoup those fees, because at this point, if we have to litigate, go with some of these people to court, it's thousands and thousands of dollars, and we don't have any penalties in place to cover those costs. We end up just paying out of our pocket to get these people to do what they're supposed to do. So
That's understandable. I talked to people from Ryderwood, and they tried to go after residents in their town for similar things, and the resistance was kind of town splitting, I guess. would be kind
Most of the
say
people
so.
we've reached out to have been willing to work with us, and in doing so, in contacting us, we put together a plan and work with them that way so that it's not that $500 a day. That doesn't, once they make contact with us and start working with us, that $500 a day doesn't happen, as long as they continue to do what they say they're going to do. So it's the people who aren't that it piles up on.
All right, thank you for the clarification.
So if you need more time to think about it, if you want to talk to the attorney, she was more than happy to talk with you about it and help explain it or discuss options and things as well. But anyways, that's where we're at with this.
I would make a motion to approve this ordinance, the amendment to the ordinance. I move to approve ordinance 2017-02, adopting amendments to the Vader Code enforcement regulations, including certain housekeeping updates, revisions to civil penalties and appeal processes, and voluntary correction agreement processes as written.
I'll second that.
Seconded by Mr. Parsons. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 5, council consider engineering statements of qualification review team for TIB street improvement project. So there are, for the construction downtown, we have gotten several statements of qualifications from engineering firms, correct?
Yes, we have 5.
We have 5. And so previously what the city has done is put together the mayor, you, and 1 or 2 council members would get together and just to look over them and review them, similar to what we did with Civil West's and other engineering firms' applications for the sewer system. And just to review them and then come back with recommendations to the council. That's what previously has happened. So what we're looking for is just a okay by the council to set up the small meeting and go about it that way.
Okay.
Jill, any input?
We would like to have at least one member of council participate in that.
Do we know when that would be? Or
We could arrange it. We'd like to do it sooner. We'd like to have it ready to go for council at the next council meeting so council can take action on selecting a firm. So we'd like to do it right away. Yeah, so.
I obviously would like to be there as well. So,
Well, we assumed that you would want to be involved since it's kind of been your baby all along, but we didn't want to leave anybody out if anybody else wanted to participate.
Yeah.
We could have one other council. We don't want to have 3 council members because then it's a meeting, a public meeting. So, but one other if anybody wanted to.
Jason, you're interested, Jason?
yeah, I'm interested.
So we can get together with
Yeah.
Jill and the mayor and figure out a meeting time next week or something?
I'll give you the packet before you leave today.
Okay.
And just to make sure we're all in agreement, this is what we want to do?
So,
Okay.
So Joe and Jason both are going to participate. Okay.
Okay. That is the end of our regularly scheduled Vader Council meeting. The time is 6:36. At 7 o'clock, Lewis County Public Works would like to have a public meeting about the water system. So stay tuned.
So you officially adjourn this meeting at?
Gavel.
Meeting adjourned at 6:36 p.m.